Hi, I am so glad that you have decided to join the meditation challenge. I just want to do a little bit about how to use meditation, how to figure out what your intention might be, and then to plug in the meditation that will work best. So, just a little quick presentation on meditation. Here we go. It's about how to use it if you'd like to reduce stress, increase focus, operationalize how you want to thrive or success, and then also why it works. So, some of this is just to convince you and keep you on the path of meditating. So, I want us to be able to have an outline and really hit the ground running, get clear on what meditation is, define it, and have some parameters around it. Look at some of the research. Um, what does your brain really do when you have a regular meditation practice? That always convinces me to keep meditating. You get to be your own researcher. So, as much as we can look at the research and what they're finding with regular meditation, I want you to see if it works for you because that's really the main thing and the one thing that matters most. We'll look at meditation for stress relief. We'll look at why we're all so stressed. What are our nervous systems doing? And how does it manifest into stress? We'll look at moving meditation. So, if you don't love to sit, there is a way to meditate and move. We'll look at meditation for focus. All of our brains can feel really frazzled, and there's something called shiny object syndrome. We get pulled in or distracted by the next new shiny thing. So we'll try and meditate to increase our focus. We'll meditate for performance, whether it's athletic performance, work performance, this idea of being able to thrive. And then my favorite, we'll look at meditation to build community because when you have a good community, especially built around meditation, you'll continue to meditate or you'll just have a place to turn when meditation doesn't feel like a silver bullet because it's not. Difference between a secret weapon and a silver bullet, right? Nothing really is a silver bullet, but meditation can be used as a secret weapon to help you thrive and feel better and find what you actually might need. And then we'll give you some takeaways and we'll look at the references, the places where this research came from. Good? So, just to start, all of this can feel like a lot. I get really passionate and can speak quickly. This is my cue and your cue to take some time and follow a pace of being able to breathe all the way in and let your breath fall and breathe all the way out. What matters most is your experience. So just take another full inhale and watch that turn into an exhale. Can you get to the bottom? It's our way of clearing space. A lot of meditation is based on breath, but that is not the only anchor. So if breath sometimes feels tricky or sticky or anxiety producing, don't worry. We'll find other anchors that don't produce that feeling of anxiety, that don't feel sticky, that feel pretty straightforward. All right. Now that we've set some space to be clear, I fully believe that meditation can be a game changer in the way that we function as humans. It holds potential, just like every human being holds tremendous potential. It can harness your ability to find balance, focus, calm, and clarity if that's what you're striving to look for. All of those things shift and change, which is kind of fun. So hopefully it feels playful and not like something that you should do or has to produce certain results, something that you can play with and see how it works. It can increase meaning and purpose for the things that happen. They say that all the things that happen to us could be used in our meditation practice. And that definitely gives experiences some purpose and some meaning, which can give life a whole new texture. It can optimize performance at work, at home, in life by giving you that room to really gather your energy, your attention, and get clear. What matters most is what you want from meditation. And it doesn't have to be one thing all the time. It can change. It can change through the course of one day. Perhaps in the morning you want more energy. Perhaps at lunch or in the afternoon you want more focus. And perhaps at the end of the day you want to really rest and feel settled. Meditation can do all of those things if used in different ways. All right. So as we look at what is meditation, it's really a mental exercise that trains attention, awareness, and your brain. Your brain feels like it's the thing that's controlling you, but through meditation, you'll watch, you'll notice you can take the reins of your brain by looking at what you're focusing on, paying attention, and then deciding how important it is or isn't. And meditation really gives us that space to witness, observe, notice, and even cut into those habitual patterns of thought. So there it is. Its overall purpose is to curb reactivity to our fleeting thoughts. It's estimated that the human brain has about 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day, which is why it can feel like our brain is the one running the show. But we decide how valuable or how important each thought is. And it's interesting because a lot of those thoughts are repetitive. Looking at this, I'm convinced that I really should sit and watch and notice and take some time daily to meditate. Research has shown that there are several ways that meditation changes the actual structure of your brain. There's something called neuroplasticity, and some neuroscientists almost argue that we should call it something instead of plasticity because plastic implies that it's not as malleable as brain tissue actually is. It's the original memory foam. It changes depending on the stimulus, and what we do repetitively, perpetually will change your brain matter. So people who have a regular meditation practice, something between 3 to 5, maybe even more times a week, 10 to 15 minutes a session, just kind of that idea of regular increments. It can also be 2 sessions of 5 minutes in one day, right, to add up to 10 minutes a day. In any case, they've found that the prefrontal cortex gets bigger, and it's the area of the brain that's responsible for rational decision making. And so that idea that we become a little more rational, a little less reactive shows up in the MRIs that they do to look at the brain of meditators. Regular meditation also shrinks the amygdala, which is known as the primitive part of the brain. It's the fear center. It's known for reacting. So when you meditate, that reactive emotional fear center can get smaller. And so that is associated again with greater emotional control. It's not that it doesn't do its job, it will still alert you. You won't be able to rest your hand on a hot surface without reacting, right? Your amygdala will still give you room to be on alert, but perhaps every time your phone dings or every news story won't create this catastrophic need to react. And then your body will hopefully be holding a little bit of that stress that comes from the fear that's elicited and all the hormones that are released, creating a reaction and need to react to keep us in fight and flight so that we survive, right? Our stimuli are different these days. And so through meditation, the amygdala gets a little smaller, a little less reactive, and we're not living on high alert, which can lead to burnout. So that's a good thing. It also thickens the hippocampus, which is the key center for learning and memory. So it's exciting to think about being able to increase memory and how it works. It increases overall gray matter, which is important for processing. It enhances the high amplitude gamma brainwaves, which are correlated with states of awareness and bliss. Long-term meditators are shown to have more gamma wave activity before and during meditation, and probably afterward as well. But in any case, that idea of knowing that they're about to meditate increases those pleasure centers. And then during the meditation, there's an increased sense of awareness and potentially bliss, which sounds like a good thing, right? It also can help the brain stay youthful, just like exercise can increase bone density and keep the body feeling more vital and youthful. Meditation can do the same thing. Research from UCLA suggests that people who meditate have less age-related atrophy in the brain's white matter. And gray matter is the tissue that contains neurons and it's connected by the white matter. So the white matter increase allows the brain to feel more connective and information flows in a way that feels like you're making connections. And that's sort of where I think the brain's youthfulness comes from, those memories, those connections, that wit and wisdom that comes with experience, but also allows us to be part of engaging in our world. There are three basic types of meditation, and this gets confusing because we think that there are a bazillion types of meditation. There are a lot of ways to meditate. They generally fall into basic types. The first is open monitoring, which is paying attention to what arises. So sounds, breath, body sensations. You pay attention as things are happening. That can create room for creativity, room for openness, room for expansive thought. And then there's the kind of different type is paying attention to a point of focus. So bringing your awareness to your hands, feeling sensations in your feet, you're gathering your attention, focusing it on one thing. Those can feel very similar. Sometimes types or ways of meditating cross over into open focus and closed focus. Closed focus can get you really steady in the moment. Open focus can give you room to notice what's happening as it's happening. And then mantra meditation is often referred to as transcendental meditation, and that's picking an exact word or phrase. And we'll do some mantra meditation. Loving kindness is an example of mantra meditation. Self compassion can be an example of mantra meditation. Transcendental meditation is a different type. It gives you a certain mantra to focus on with this idea of being able to transcend or have a feeling of transcendence from the moment. So we'll mainly work with open monitoring, closed focusing. We'll pepper in some mantra meditation as well. So meditation is often reached for stress relief. Stress occurs when the body feels disconnected from the brain or the brain feels like it's in a different place than the body. We can get distracted and feel really overwhelmed. So when we use meditation, we hope to relax that nervous system, the brain, and connect it to the body and perhaps downregulate, which means bring our energy to a place where we're not on high alert. And in that connection, the brain and the body in the same place at the same time, it allows you to feel more settled and generally relieves the stress we feel from overthinking or worrying or wondering or feeling like we can't do what we want to be doing. Sitting in traffic, your brain is probably thinking about the meeting that you need to be at or the place that's there on the other end, but your body's stuck and can't get there. And it creates this dissonance that creates a fair amount of stress, right? So, ways to relieve stress is by soothing your breath. That beginning slide where we kind of took a few deep breaths. Meditation helps with stressful relief, mindful movement helps with stress relief. And so, we'll use them. It's normal that we're also stressed. I think I referred to it a little bit. We all have something called a negativity bias. It is one of those things that has helped us see threats and helped us to survive. And so it's normal that we have it, that we are more keen to notice the things that could be threatening to us, whereas the things that aren't a threat, we sort of take for granted just by the way we're wired. The nervous system then is in fight, flight, freeze, um, instead of being able to feel rested and able to digest. So when we're in fight and flight and freeze for too long, it can really tax the brain and the body, again, leaving us feeling burned out. Those are meant to be kind of short bursts of noticing a threat and responding so that you flush through the stress cycle. In current times, we don't really move when we're stressed. Again, that traffic example, we feel kind of stuck. An email comes in, creates stress. Your body doesn't move to flush through all of those hormones that get released to cue the fight and flight. So we're stuck with it in a way that is unprocessed and the stress cycle isn't complete. So meditation can help move some of that stuff through and remind us how to feel good in the rest and digest state. What I love about breath is it overrides the autonomic nervous functions. So most of the things like digestion, balancing your blood sugar, your hormones, a lot of that happens in the autonomic nervous system without our conscious control. Breath is the one thing that the autonomic nervous system will take charge of because it's so important. For example, when you're sleeping, you're not controlling your breath, but you can cut into breath and actually control the pace and the rhythm, which is such an interesting thing to think about, something so important that we actually can take control of it and use it to shape how we're responding or feeling or what we might need in the moment. So, pretty powerful thing that, again, we might take for granted. When you're hoping to downregulate or calm down, the best way to do that is let your exhale be longer than your inhale. And we'll look at that too. And then you can feel the physiological effects through breath right away. Again, that first slide, all of a sudden we're back together and able to settle. Okay. Down regulating with breath, right? Breathe in and out through your nose, which is a really good way for your body to know that you're safe. We tend to, when the heart is racing, think about working out, you're generally huffing and puffing through your mouth. When things are fine, you'll breathe through your nose and it just gets filtered better. It has a way of moving and working with the way the body was designed to breathe. There's been research about mouth breathing versus nose breathing. So we want to try and use nose breathing as much as we can. Mouth breathing is not terrible, but we don't always want to be in mouth breathing, especially in sleep. We want to think about breathing in through the nose. In any case, if you're looking to down regulate, simple way of doing that is breathe in for a count of 4 and breathe out for a count of 6. Or maybe it's breathe in for a count of 6 if your breath is a little longer and breathe out for a count of 8. And that'll bring you into a place of feeling like you can access the rest and the digest. So you're not just in fight or flight. One of the things that I really love through this meditation challenge, it's not only sitting, it's going to be some sitting, but we're also going to do some mindful movement. So those times when you really feel a little too stressed to just sit, you can get out and walk. It's not going to be the exact same way that you walk. You're not going to be listening to a podcast necessarily, getting your brain activated. You'll maybe develop a mantra with each step. You'll notice each step. You'll feel the movement. Maybe it's even just being quiet, slowing down your pace and looking around and observing, noticing things that you wouldn't normally notice if you were just out for a walk. So it gets your body moving, your breath flowing, and then your attention gets honed in on exactly what you're doing in the moment. Tai Chi is a very meditative movement. Yoga can also be a meditative movement if you're not judging or overthinking. So it can be really tricky if you teach yoga for it to feel like a meditation, or if you're someone whose brain sequences and looks for patterns, sometimes you'll predict what's next, which takes you out of being in the moment. So yes, yoga can be a meditation, Tai Chi can be meditations, but sometimes it feels like your brain is still working a little harder to predict or to move forward. So in any case, it's something interesting to notice. Walking is a good one because it's so routine for the body. It's so easy. Now we're at this phase. When we started out walking, it wasn't so easy, but now you can use it in a really simple way and just saying something like step, step, step. Even if you're walking quickly, you can break down the step if you're walking slowly. So another tool for your tool bag. Tool bag doesn't sound like a nice thing to say, but another tool for your kit. How's that? Similar to athletes who shape their body with repetitive exercise, certain muscles in the gym, our brains they adapt to how we use them. Our brains don't stop evolving, right? They continue. We talked about that with neuroplasticity. And that's it, neuroplasticity. If you're looking to increase focus with meditation, the goal is often to cut out the noise. So high performers cut out internal and external noise with meditation oftentimes. So focus is a skill you can build. You really lock into the moment if you're looking to increase focus, something like box breath, where you're really paying attention to how each piece of the breath, even a little breath retention, works. an anchor meditation, really being right here in the moment, locking your focus. There's that closed focus, locking your focus on it could be breath, it could be your body, or it could be different points in your body. It's a really good way to train focus. Another really fun way to do this, I know training focus might not sound fun, but a good one is through visualization. Something like a happy place meditation. It's not easy, but it feels worth it. And like I said, you can add a little bit of fun. So box breath is breathing in for a count of 4, holding for a count of 4, breathing out for a count of 4, and holding at the bottom for a count of 4. And so what it does, it trains you to pay attention in a really close way without stressing out your body. If you're trying to lengthen or shorten your breath, it keeps it at a sort of midpoint. And the hold really increases that focus. The hold at the top, and then there's another hold at the bottom. If you're looking to use meditation in a way that gives you room to thrive, whether it's at work or setting yourself up for anything that needs every bit of your attention, it helps to visualize whatever it is that you're using the meditation for. So if it's a big meeting, if it's an event like a triathlon, if it's a trip around family and you just really want to be present, it can help to visualize the event that's happening, to see it, to experience it, flesh out every detail. Michael Phelps is really well known for using this kind of visualization. One of the things he says that's his secret is he sees the obstacles. So if he's preparing for a race, he would visualize his goggles getting filled with water and still continuing, or maybe getting a terrible start and pushing through in the middle. And he sees those things come up, visualizes how his body would react or what he needs to do in his brain to stay calm and focused and continue on with his performance. This can be really effective in the morning because your brain is clear and it doesn't have all the other distractions yet, and it can set you up to see things going well and moving in the direction that helps you. Um, a happy place meditation is another nice way to do this, just kind of getting clear, feeling light, giving yourself a little bit of a boost so that when things do feel challenging, you've got almost a mental retreat or a mental pattern that gets you through. If you're looking to meditate for sleep, and it's really important to operationalize and prioritize rest, some people use a Calm app, some people use a body scan, a yoga nidra. That breath where the exhale is longer than the inhale can work really well. Again, not a silver bullet, but it's one of those things that helps. In your coursework, there is a meditation for sleep. Some people really love it. And then there'll be a longer body scan or a yoga nidra in there as well to help with sleep if that's something that feels very sticky and tricky from time to time for you. And hopefully it's time to time, but we can always talk about that. Now, the best one, meditation to build community. So as you're meditating, it helps to have a place where you can talk about this stuff. Not a lot of people talk about it. And so it creates this place where you feel like you're not doing it right, or it's not working, or you're not sure if it's working. And so it's really easy to ditch a habit that might, or a pattern or a practice that might feel like you're not sure what's actually going on. So what you are part of is a culture that allows for support, gives you room to thrive and try, and there are no mistakes and you can't get it wrong. And sharing the experience is part of the magic of all of this stuff. It allows each member to feel encouraged and driven. And you'll see that just like another person's experience encourages you, your experience encourages others. So it's this beautiful symbiotic relationship. And then it cuts out these places where sometimes we see judgment or pettiness or blame. We're all in it together. And so it does no good to judge or blame the other because they're part of your ecosystem. And so if you see it that way, you want every part of your ecosystem to feel like it has the room or what it needs to thrive because it gives you room to thrive too. and it works together. So one of the ways to keep using meditation to build community is through something called metta or loving kindness meditation. And there's that in the coursework as well. You start with yourself. They've done research where we used to start, or, the guide used to start with other people, someone you loved, somebody who's neutral, and somebody who's challenging. The research has shown that when you start with yourself, it makes it that much easier to share it with someone you love, somebody who's neutral, and even someone that's challenging. Because if you have enough and you're taken care of, why not share it? So you don't have to do this mental gymnastics of like, they've all got some, what about me? And you save yourself to the end, right? That's almost setting yourself up to feel like you put yourself last in your patterns of life. So this is really from that same saying of put your oxygen mask on first. Start with yourself with loving kindness phrases, then move to the people you love or someone you love, someone who's neutral, someone who's challenging, and then all beings everywhere. If there's enough, why not? Everyone should feel safe, healthy, happy, and move through the world with ease. And those are the real simple phrases. There's so many flowery ways to put them together, but it's really, may I be safe? May I be healthy? May I be happy? May I move through the world with ease? Same thing. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you move through the world with ease. May all of us be safe, healthy, happy, and move through the world with ease. And you really take some time and linger there. And it changes how we treat each other. It also changes how we treat ourselves. It can give our brains something to focus on instead of spiraling into the next news story or trying to predict what might happen with partial information. Our brains love that. Like, I have a little bit of information, let me try and extrapolate it. But it does no one any good, right? There's that quote by Mark Twain, some of the worst things that ever happened to me never happened at all. So the idea that they only happened in your brain and got extrapolated out. Self-compassion meditation is a real secret weapon, if not sometimes a silver bullet. Watching how you talk to yourself, holding yourself with some kindness, giving yourself the room that you need to learn or make mistakes and bounce back. You'll bounce back that much more quickly. You'll give it another good try that much more quickly if you know you're on your own side, instead of having that harsh critic that blames or shames when a mistake happens or when something feels challenging. If you can cultivate that internal friend, supporter who allows you to land and let it be okay that there's pain, that there's failure, that there's struggle. When it's okay and those things are normalized, it feels that much easier to work with them, to deal with them, and also to bounce back and to move forward without dwelling on the things that can drag us down. And it cuts into patterns that might feel harmful. So when those emotions are so painful and challenging, we might feel like we can't get out of them. And so we're looking for something external to try and get us out of the pain or the sadness or the shame or the guilt. And that can lead to other cycles and patterns of behavior. So when it's okay to feel them internally, you don't have to run. You don't have to search for the next thing to distract you. You can be there, be with them, let it be okay on a very deep and profound level. And then give yourself the room where you don't need something to numb that pain. That pain is okay and it's transformative, and you'll be able to feel it and get through it. And you'll learn that with being able to sit right next to that pain. And sometimes pain and joy are really close to each other, right? They're the flip side of the coin, but we can't get there we can't just be in one without the other. So self-compassion helps us with that a lot in a really beautiful internal way. The research comes from Dr. Kristen Neff. I think she's now at the University of Austin. I think she studied at UC Berkeley. Sharon Salzberg is also a person who has done a ton of writing and work on loving kindness meditation. And so those are great resources. There'll be some resources in your coursework. All right, so there are those phrases. May I be healthy, may I be happy, may I be safe, may I move through the world with ease. And then for all beings everywhere, may they be healthy, may they be happy, may they be safe, May they move through the world with ease. So, just takeaways: meditation can enhance connections by creating awareness, shutting out the noise, and getting deliberate with your attention and your focus. You can become less emotionally reactive. These are things that are trainable. We sometimes think it's inherent, it's really trainable. When you're present, you're a better team member, parent, partner, assistant, leader, and overall human. You see things from a perspective that just gives more spaciousness in a world that seems like it's on fire all the time, and it feels like it's forcing you to jump into that fire. So meditation reminds you don't have to jump in. You can watch, you can witness, you can give yourself a little bit of space. And maybe not all things are burning. Maybe not all things are fire drills. The brain adapts quickly when you use it in novel ways. So it's not going to feel easy, just like anytime you do a new exercise, it's harder work for your body. Same with your brain. But by repeatedly applying attention in a particular way, you as a meditator can build an improved way of your brain working, and the different parts of your brain will be stimulated in different ways with similar stimuli that used to perhaps really set you off. With regular meditation, your brain works a little differently, and you'll hopefully feel those changes and the results of that. These are the references. I can drop them in your coursework. A lot of them are studies that can be a little bit dense, but if you love that kind of thing and you want to learn more about what the MRIs are seeing, um, I can share them with you. So this is really about the brain changing, kind of the increases in the gray matter, the changes in the amygdala. It's kind of nice to have the research that's happening as it's happening, and there's a lot going on. Um, and then I love our follow-ups. So when you're ready to follow up or check in, they're Monday at 4:30. If you have questions, let me know. I hope this was helpful. I'll allow for some chat in your coursework. If that's something that you like, feel free to take advantage of it. And I'm here if you need anything. All right. So thank you again for your time, and I'll see you in the check-ins.